In this lesson, we'll see how we can utilize the Mental Ray Cylinder Geometry Shader. So since this particular node is a geometry shader, this is something that does need to be applied to some kind of a placeholder piece of geometry. So we can use really anything that we want. Really, the geometry does not have to be any kind of size or resolution in order for this to work, so the lower the resolution, the better. So we can use something like a polygon plane. And as far as the amount of geometry that we have here, we can put in anything that we need, again, because this is just going to be a simple placeholder piece of geometry. So with this, let's select our plane and take a look inside the actual polyplane tab. Scroll down inside the Mental Ray, scroll down and look for the Geometry Shader tab. So let's enable the Geometry Shader. Go ahead and click on the checkerboard button. Scroll down inside the Mental Ray tab and let's take a look at the Cylinder Geometry Shader. There we go. And now what will happen is whenever we hit render, it will at render time swap out this placeholder piece of geometry for our cylinder. And you can see that everything works exactly as it should. We have shadows that correspond as well as final gather rays. So if we want to make adjustments to this, we can always take a look inside the actual cylinder's attributes. And if we wanted to increase the number of divisions on this, we could easily do that as far as how many subdivisions we have going around the actual perimeter of this cylinder, and then how many divisions we'll have vertically. Now these will be fairly difficult to see because we can't actually see these vertical lines that would run parallel from this face to this one. But if we now hit render with a higher number of subdivisions, you can see that we wind up with now a much smoother result. And this will go ahead and follow all the transforms of our placeholder geometry. So if I were to rotate this in any direction, our placeholder geometry will also rotate itself accordingly. We can also assign any kind of new materials to this placeholder piece of geometry, and that will, at render time, be propagated down to our stand-in, or rather our Mental Ray piece of geometry. So that's a look at how we can use the Cylinder Geometry Shader.